GottaBeReel movie reviews with Thommi and Jules. We have a special one for you today, The Batman.
The Batman. Not just Batman, but The Batman.
Batman. The Batman.
All right, we've been waiting for this one. So let's talk about who stars in The Batman.
Okay. The Batman is rated PG-13 and it's located in theaters. You can't stream it just yet.
It's going to be a long while before you'll be able to stream that, I have a feeling.
I don't know, some things are coming out kind of quickly.
But this one, I want to check the box office numbers, but I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I believe you because, I'm sure it's doing great.
People love
it. It stars Robert Pattinson as the Batman. It's his first time playing the Batman.
I was skeptical about him for a while, but all right.
I wasn't sure too, but
we
had George Clooney and stuff. We were skeptical about everybody.
And I just watched a movie with Robert Pattinson that I didn't know existed. I just find stuff sometimes when I'm surfing, and he was like a preacher somewhere in the South, but he was a grimy, nasty preacher, and I was like, you know what? He's really good. He's really good. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Zoe Kravitz plays Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Jeffrey Wright.
Let me tell you something about Jeffrey Wright. Phenomenal actor. Okay, his range is ridiculous. One of my favorite roles that Jeffrey Wright did was in Angels in America. I want to say it's a 4-part miniseries. Watch it. It's a phenomenal. It's a play, but they actually made it into a movie. And my gosh, he is phenomenal in that movie. But Jeffrey Wright, yes.
Yeah. Okay. He's also in Westworld and No Time to Die. Hunger Games.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Boardwalk Empire. Colin Farrell as Oz.
Would have never.
AKA the Penguin. I totally forgot that was him.
I couldn't see that. I never would have guessed.
When we got out and I was telling my son about it, he was like, "How is Colin Farrell?" I was like, "Oh yeah,
You're
Colin Farrell." Because I had just
seen
him on like Ellen talking about how it's a 360-degree costume and how heavy it was, this, that, and the third. And I got in there, totally forgot that was
called
that
skills and fantastic special effects makeup. Gosh, you guys did a great job.
He did an awesome job. They need to win an Oscar
he was,
for that one.
Yeah,
for that
nasty
makeup.
one.
Paul Dano as the Riddler.
He was nutty as a freaking fruitcake. Oh my gosh.
I mean, he's the Riddler. What do you say? John Turturro as Carmen Falcone. And Andy Serkis as Alfred. He did really good. I loved him.
I almost called him Jeffrey one time. They're like your butlers, but I don't know what was in my head. Maybe because I've been watching Bel Air lately. But I almost called him Jeffrey, knowing good and well that he's Alfred. Okay. See, movies
it's
crossing
like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Alfred was before Jeffrey. Okay?
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
And Peter Sarsgaard as District Attorney Gil Colson.
All right, so let's go in. First of all, this was when I looked it up at the theater. I like to plan my days.
Yeah.
Almost three hours. What?
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
I went in knowing that, didn't even notice it. Because it was more than one thing that happened in there, so it picked up where you thought, okay, this is good. We've got this, taken care of. Here comes something else.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it. I went to Majestic, our reclining seats, and got free popcorn, and so it was cool.
Okay, well, it's 2 hours and 55 minutes long, and throughout the whole movie, I have a different opinion because throughout the whole movie, I kept.
Oh my God! Okay, let's talk about the submarine. We'll see why you, of all people, will be nodding off. Okay.
And fortunately, I didn't have to go to the bathroom because what I do is I go during the trailers. Plus, I
didn't drink anything.
I don't like to see too many trailers anyway because I like to be excited when I see a movie. I don't want to.
I like to see trailers.
I don't want to know too much about the movie before I get in there because it's okay if I see one trailer
or the posters outside when you're walking in.
Yeah, but sometimes they have like 3 or 4 trailers about a movie,
see the big
and then
parts.
It's like I
love the
saw
trailers.
all the main parts of this movie.
I want to see the trailers. I like them.
And that's why we're opposite, and that's why you watch us because you get two.
We're not necessarily yin and yang. Kind of like water and oil sometimes, but we make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's going on in The Batman?
All right. So when the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So let me first say, when I seen this was going to be Robert Pattinson before it came out, I'm like, are they for real? I mean, what? We're talking about the sparkly vampire? Really?
I mean, vampires turn into bats. He's the Batman.
No, that did not flow like that. We're talking about Twilight. I'm just used to, that's just one of his, like I said, I just recently watched something else with him in it, and I was digging him. So I didn't think I was going to like him in here, and I think he was fantastic. For what their goal was, after reading, you know, what the directors and producers, their goal was, how they wanted him pictured.
For what their goal was, yes.
He was fantastic. And within, I mean, it wasn't even 10 minutes. I'm like, ooh, this is dark. It feels like a horror movie. You know, I'm seeing some murders going on. I'm like, ooh, I like this, so dark. And I like him in this role. Go ahead, Oil.
All right, look.
Give it up. So what?
Now I know what the director was looking for, and he was spot on for that. But when I got there, and even in the first scene, he's like,
doesn't talk much. Like you just,
let me do it. Let me see what's going on over here. It looks like he left a footprint over there. I mean, that's not what he said, but that's like how he was talking.
How he was going in.
I'm thinking they need to turn this sound up, because if this is the way it's going to be for the whole 3 hours, I mean, god dang.
And you know Batman's supposed to have a little raspy, you know, kind of deep raspy voice, so they want to try to get
He said he was going to do, I saw him interviewed last night, and he said he was thinking about doing a whispery voice, but then they decided not to do it because it didn't sound good.
And
he still did a whispery voice. I mean, there was some parts where I was like trying to eat my popcorn. I still couldn't really hear. I'm like, well, shoot, I need to suck on this.
Maybe it was
and
the
not
theater.
eat popcorn, because I'm like,
and it was quiet in mine, so I could hear.
It was quiet in mine too, but
I would just wait for the scruffiness.
I was like, I probably should have tried to sit in the middle, but there was more people in the middle than there were on the end.
Yeah,
because that's where the best sound is, if you sit exactly in the middle. But I mean, I was like, I could hear everything else, and all the rest of the sounds were up, but the way he was talking was just,
I know.
And he was just so grunge. He was like emo Batman. Every time I saw him, I thought about that emo emoticon, you know, with the hair flipping, the blue hair flipping. That's who I pictured him as.
And it did kind of look like that.
Even when he took his stuff off, his hair, he was flipping his hair out the way, like, oh, okay, he's emo.
I guess we can go ahead and say this isn't giving anything away. What the director wanted, something of a somewhat kind of starting to get beat down and dark look with him, like that.
This Batman, look,
it worked for what they were looking for.
It worked for what they were looking for. But look, okay, so let me just get into it.
Okay.
All right. As I said before, when I watch like a 007, when I watch a Batman and stuff, they have gadgets and things. I'm gonna like to see the traditional gadget scene. I want to see what he's working with. You know what I'm saying? I like that Batman when they went down in the tunnel with Fox or whatever, and he was like, here's your cars, here's your stuff. That to me was exciting. That was dope. This guy uses some stuff, but you don't really get
there was less technology on this one.
It was
almost like,
and most of the time he's driving around on a motorcycle. You don't see too much of the Batmobile.
Right.
The Batmobile is not anything like any of the other traditional type Batmobiles.
Yeah, it's a staple.
It's like a souped up Mustang or something.
Yeah, it's a staple for all this should be in all the Batman movies.
Then when you do see the Batmobile in play, as we mentioned, this movie is dark. It's dark throughout. So when you see it in play, it's at night and there's rain. So you don't really get to see a whole lot. And I'm at the theater and I'm still like, okay, yeah. I mean, I can see it, but it's just dark. It's dark upon dark upon dark.
And when I say dark, physically looking at it dark, but the content of it, period, was dark.
Yes, both.
Yes, both. Okay.
People in New York are getting a little upset because you know that Gotham is New York, right? This was the dirtiest. I mean, all the Batmans are like dark and Gotham is dark and kind of dirty and stuff. This was the filthiest, dirtiest, nastiest looking place. Like, I'm like, how are these people, when we see regular people coming out for things, looking all nice and put together and clean, and why do they want to still live in this filthy bleep city? Like, wow.
Very grungy.
It is super dirty grungy. I mean, if that's, you were trying to achieve that, that's great. But to me, I was like, wow, this is dark. They were like, okay, Christian Bale's Batman was dark. We need to go darker.
Who was your favorite Batman?
You know,
did you like Ben Affleck?
I kind of, liked them all okay, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not hating Robert Pattinson, and I'm really digging Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, we're going to talk about her.
They said that she studied, he in his interview last night, Robert Pattinson said that she studied cats fighting. And you could tell, I mean, she really was 100% into that role. So he said that he looked up bats fighting, and he only found one video, and it was a bat fighting a chicken, and the bat just kind of waited till the chicken fell asleep, and then it bit him in the butt.
Cowardice.
So the director said, "Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not using that."
And I love the fact that she was kind of Catwoman, but never come out, "Oh, I'm Catwoman." It was never like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened, and I'm like, "Wait a minute." She's kind of Catwoman in here. But I like that they didn't say it, and she just keeps getting better and better and better. And all the roles that she's doing. So I like her.
For a fact, but I do know for a fact that it was confirmed that Robert Pattinson signed a deal for 2 more movies, so it's going to be a trilogy. So I'm hoping that they bring back Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle.
She did a great job.
And the rest of them too, actually.
Good chemistry between them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So for this, was there any extra scenes?
There's an extra scene at the very end of the credits. It's not worth waiting for. I'm gonna tell you what it is.
I waited for a minute. I'm like, okay.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's at the very end of the credits, and I waited like a dummy. It just says at the very end, it says goodbye. It's like a black computer screen with the green letters, like we saw
like the
earlier.
old-fashioned one.
Yes, it says goodbye, and then it briefly flashes, like almost too fast for the human eye to catch. It says the website that we saw earlier in the movie, Rotolata.com. And if you go to Rotolata.com, it's a real website.
Oh.
And it gives you riddles that you have to solve. There's a YouTube page I just watched, and they give you some of the answers, but they said that the riddles change all the time. So what you might see and what I might see are different riddles. If you try to open another window, whether on your phone or on the computer or something, it says... It says you scour the internet for the truth, but you still need to answer me. So it like makes fun of you for trying to Google for the answer. And
that's funny.
When you start answering the questions to the riddles, it opens up more things and it shows you a little bit more content, like behind the scenes or something from the movie.
Okay.
So it's a fun thing to do if you're gonna check it out. It's Rotolada, RATAALADA.com.
And we know that goodbye and that flash of a website, that means a part 2 is coming. So once you actually see what the Riddler did and how he did it, you'll know that last little bit of scene is opening up for another one. There has to be anyways. There was just so much in here that just got...
It was almost too convoluted for my liking too. That's another reason I started kind of losing some focus, because you had 3 villains. Like really, you could have had 2. I mean, you could have left out, say, Falcone or maybe the Penguin. But
I like them. I like them in there.
I like them, but... It's like it started getting to be too much. I almost started feeling like, well, exactly what's going on?
Well, that's why it was 3 hours, because it was like, okay, all this stuff happened. Okay, we got you.
Oh,
wait, now here's something else, and that's what carried it out.
Okay, that's
also
that's one thing, but also this is what carried it out for 3 hours, and you'll see this at the very beginning. This is what carried it out.
Quit talking about his facial expressions.
No, they would just hold on to it
for a long time. Whole lot of lines.
No, but I'm saying they held on to some scenes a little too long with him just smoldering.
They wanted you to feel that dark Batman feel.
I'm like, we could skip this scene, or you could speed it up, show him smolder for like 2 seconds, and let's move on. Let's keep this show going. Because some people are like, it was action packed all the way through. That's a lie. That's a lie.
It was a lot of action in there. I did enjoy that.
There's a lot of action. Yes,
it doesn't start out boom.
Yeah, it starts out real slow.
Again, it started out like I'm thinking I'm watching a horror movie.
Real slow.
I liked it. Now, they actually had him in mind for this role?
Yeah, the director did. Okay, so director Matt Reeves wrote the script with Robert Pattinson in mind, not even knowing if he would ever want to do the movie.
Of course.
After watching Pattinson's performance in Good Time that came out in 2017
I remember that one.
And becoming captivated by him, Reeves started to imagine Pattinson in the role at a certain point as he was writing. Pattinson was Reeves' top choice because he was always that version of what he saw on the page. I think of Bruce Wayne as a recluse rock star in a decaying manner.
Decaying for sure.
There's a part of me that saw Rob Pattinson as that I had no idea that he would be interested in playing the role at all. I thought, what if Rob doesn't want to do what if Rob doesn't want to play Batman? That would be a disaster. But Reeves didn't know at the same time Pattinson had become fixated on the role of Batman without even knowing the status of the project.
Happy accident, maybe?
And also in Robert Pattinson's interview last night, he said he did a movie with Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And this is before he even got the role, before he's like, I'm 99% sure it's before they even thought, casting him and, making the movie and everything. He said he was wearing a whole Spider-Man outfit when they were filming overseas. He's like, he had the whole thing on. And this is before they cast him, before, he was a thought for Spider-Man and everything. So he kind of made it come to fruition. And then, like, Jimmy Kimmel brought up, he's like, what's going on? He's like, look, now Batman is British. Well, he said English. Spider-Man and Superman. They're all from England.
That's okay.
Come on, America.
Suspend.
I mean, they're great. And I love them, and I wouldn't change it.
I mean, who would turn down a role to be Batman?
But what's going on with American actors, man? That you don't want to be a superhero.
These are just, I mean, they're great roles in here, period. So, I mean, I had to have been, maybe it was meant to be for him to do this role. He was thinking about it, and nobody knew, and he was writing it. The director's writing it like, I want to put Pattinson here. And that's a huge compliment.
Oh, yeah.
For somebody to consider you for a role they haven't even asked you for a movie of this caliber.
Yep.
Phenomenal. I can't see anybody turning that role down anywhere in that movie.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves stated his version of the Riddler was partly inspired by the infamous serial killer Zodiac, who appeared in California in the late 1960s.
Right.
Do you want to touch on that, Thommi?
I would love to touch on that. Well, because Zodiac would do all these riddles and was playing games with the police and you can't figure this out, blah, blah. Zodiac was never caught. However, there was a guy, he ended up dying, that they believe was Zodiac. They just didn't have enough evidence to solidly prove it was him, but they believe it was Zodiac.
Yeah.
And he was an older guy, kind of baldish, and he's dead now though. So I mean, there's really no point in them constantly pursuing it, but they think it was likely him.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that they never caught Zodiac, really like hardcore evidence. I know it was the 60s and you got this, we don't have technology as much, but golly.
Well, who knows? You know what? There's like all these podcasts where these people study these type of things, and then they go and they look for the clues, and they've solved mysteries that are really old.
They've done that.
So they've done
that with Jack the Ripper. I'm like, oh gosh, that was so long ago. I don't know how you guys are still finding stuff, but they never found Jack the Ripper. But pop great, but the fact is nothing's going to happen because it's
when
gone.
You get a whole connection, a system of different people in different places, and they're able to look for things and look at clues and stuff and work together. I mean, you can make anything happen like that.
But with Zodiac, even if you watch the movie, like you'll see them, okay, this has got to be Zodiac because look at this evidence. I'm like, yes, that's him. Yeah. Oh, no, it ain't. That guy's got to be Zodiac because look at this evidence. And you'll think in your head, they're right.
Yeah.
It could be 5 of y'all in a room on 5 different paths that all look like it's the right killer.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, at this point, they're all dead anyways. But I mean, it'll be nice to know for sure, but I don't think it's worth pursuing anymore at this point.
Right.
But I got that Zodiac feeling. That dude was he was nuttier than nutty. I mean, the dude was absolutely psychotic. I don't know if he was bipolar or schizophrenic. I'm going to say schizo probably. He was insane, but the dude was freaking smart.
Yeah.
Like genius smart to do some of the stuff that he did. Woo. Yeah. I really enjoyed this. So, you want to go with clappers?
Well, I was going to go with this rest of these.
Oh, you got another fun fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt Reeves describes this version of Batman as a mix between a detective story, action movie, and a psychological thriller. Which
I
is
pictured
true.
it psych thriller horror.
That's true.
Like and it's not horror, so I'm not judging it by that, but I'm saying that's just the feel I got in the beginning. But I definitely like a psychological thriller.
Somebody I saw, was writing their comments on it, and they said that it was neo-noir, and I was like, yep. Yeah, that fits. Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne is inspired by Kurt Cobain.
He's still inspired.
Writer-director Matt Reeves was listening to Nirvana when he wrote the first act. He said, that's when it came to me that rather than make Bruce Wayne the Playboy version that we've seen before, there's another version who had gone through a great tragedy and became a recluse. Kurt Cobain had a relationship with fame where being famous was not his goal. He loved music, but the idea of being famous for music was a double-edged sword for him. And that made me think of Rob Pattinson, actually, because Rob is a very private person himself and doesn't necessarily like being part of the being recognized.
Paparazzi and
Part
all
of being
that.
recognized everywhere as an actor.
Well, great job. I'm going with 4 clappers for this one. I really did enjoy it. I didn't notice that it was 3 hours. I just kicked back to enjoy the movie. What are you giving it?
You know, when I first came out of the movie,
You were.
I was like, this movie sucked.
What?
And I'm giving it 1 clapper.
Oh, come. You cannot.
Normally I come out, I'm on a high. I'm like, yeah, 5 clappers or 4 clappers. Yeah, yeah. And then after I sink it in and I'm thinking about it and I'm like trying to remember the movie, I'm like,
Might change
okay,
your mind.
let's bring it down to earth and think about what I really feel about it. So after, I saw this on Thursday, today we're filming is a Saturday and I've thought about it and I've looked at, after seeing these notes and how it's supposed to be and thinking about what I saw and taking it all in. And because of the actors and the actresses and Zoe Kravitz, I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
And that's almost reluctant because I was really going to go for 2. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to y'all. This movie, did I love it? No, I didn't.
I enjoyed
and
it very much.
I love all DC and Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I may watch it again and maybe I'll change my
Catch some of the
opinion. So
small
I'm going to go
nuances.
with a 3. And it's, like I said, after doing some research, I'm like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be. And actually the storyline was good. And the acting was good.
It was.
So
yeah,
it deserves at least a 3 for me. Not to be disrespected with the 1. I just came
'Cause I
out
was
kind of
like,
angry
come
because I
on.
just kept.
I did not do that not one time. It was a
My
lot of action.
dad
The
kind
fight
of dozed
scenes.
off, and I looked at him. I was like, I don't even have the heart to wake you up, bro.
But the fight scenes were
there was
fantastic. All of the fight scenes were good.
Yeah, but then in between it was like a lull, and then some stupid stuff happened. But we don't give away spoilers.
See, I didn't get any
Like
of that.
people don't
See?
know how to move. Like if something is going down, if the ceiling is crashing in on you, maybe you want to go ahead and get out that building before somebody has to tell you to get out the building.
But then
You know
there's
what
no
I'm saying?
tragedy. But then where's the tragedy? Where's the
You
collateral
think
damage
tragedy
to make
somewhere
the
else
movie?
because that was just stupidity to me. I'm like,
Nah.
you just want to die.
People were going to get.
You just want to
they
die.
were going to. No matter how much they tried to get out, people are going to die. There's going to be collateral damage all the
I'm
time.
just like, still try to help yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
only one Batman, and nobody else is trying to help you. And if people tell you to get out, maybe you get out. Maybe it's the blackness in me. I don't know, but I'm
Get
getting
out. Oh, when you see some. I mean, just
When
say
you see
right now, if
something
you
going
see
on.
right now this ceiling cracking,
Yeah.
you're not going to jump up. Your first instinct is like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's what when
Then-
I'm heading out the door.
No, see, everybody has a different reaction.
It's
Remember,
like this is coming down on me. I'm getting out.
you have to
That's
realize
what-
this is New York. Have you ever been to New York?
No.
Okay,
Have you?
let me tell you. First of all, they're extremely desensitized.
So
to
you're saying
things.
that they're extremely stupid?
No,
I'm
not
sorry.
stupid. Remember when car alarms,
I'm not
got really
I'm not
popular?
saying that either.
No,
I love New York.
When car alarms became popular, after a while, we don't hear a car alarm going off, but nobody looks around because it's so common. New York is kind of like that. There's so much stuff that goes on there. They'll sit on the subway and just look at some crazy stuff going on. Like, oh yeah, it's New York. But no, it is like that there. It's just a huge city that
according to
pops
this
off
man
all the time, and they're just
that I
a little
saw that was being
desensitized.
interviewed that's pissed off of the way that they made Gotham look, and people know it's New York. He's like, there's muggings now. It didn't used to be like this. I'm thinking, I always heard that there was muggings and stuff in New York.
It's a
Like,
huge
where are
city.
you living in New York City?
Yeah.
He's like, it used to be safe out here.
I don't know when. New York. It's a melting pot for sure.
Yeah.
Huge melting pot.
Look, I don't know either. When that man was saying that, I was like,
Oh no! Even when you walk past
like I
people,
said, I've never been
you need
there,
to get
but
this
I've always
experience.
heard, watch your belongings.
You need to
and
get
stuff
the
when you're on
experience
Times Square.
of going down there and walking around. You will see people. You'll feel like, I'm like, everybody's so freaking rude. Not everybody in New York, so don't say that because that's not what I'm saying. But what we're saying is, you walk by, you're gonna walk past like 10 different people from maybe 5 different countries, and everybody just moving and moving. That's how New York is. It's a little grimy.
It's fast paced.
It's very much fast paced. Mm-hmm. You don't even want to have to drive a car there. Trust me, it's insane.
Yeah.
But anyhow, okay. So I recommend going ahead and seeing it. I think this would be a great date movie, especially if you like actions and thriller movies.
I recommend, if you're curious to see it, then go see it at matinee hours, or have somebody pay for you to see it. Otherwise, Since it's so dark, you probably do want to see it on a big screen. You know, in
I
a
would
movie
have.
theater.
I thought about
'Cause on your
IMAX while I was
TV,
sitting there.
It's gonna be.
You're gonna miss a lot.
You're gonna miss
is
some
what's
stuff because
formatted.
it's nighttime. Most of the scenes. Okay. Oh, this was another thing I want to bring up.
Watch
about
that IMAX if you can.
this Bruce Wayne, he's mainly Batman in this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because even at one point, Alfred's like, you have a meeting, you know, with the board, and you have to talk to them about the company, right? I don't have time for that. I have to, you know, it's like, how you getting your money, bruh? You better take
Alfred's
these
probably
meetings.
handling most of it.
You better take these meetings sometimes. Like we never, you know, all the other Batmans, you get to see like the business Batman at one point.
Mhm.
This one, you just seeing the Batman, or the
But
business
that's because
Bruce Wayne.
there was a lot popping
This-
off at the time. There was no need for him to stay in Bruce Wayne character that much when there was constantly bat signal going up, something else going on over
There
here.
had to
This
be
is
like
getting
one
people getting
time or
killed.
another where we saw like a clean Bruce Wayne, where maybe he went to the office. Some
I didn't know.
I
I don't
guess,
think it was
you know,
needed.
it didn't focus on that at all. So don't.
It needed to be more Batman because of what was going on in the story. I mean, it started out
He was
as
just
Batman
very
needs to be
sullen,
here in this crime scene.
Kurt
Yeah.
Cobainish, sullen, deep rock star kind of.
That's what the
Bruce
director
Wayne
was going
Batman.
for.
I know.
Now that we know that.
I'm just reiterating. That's all. I'm not. You know.
Okay. Well, I admit, go ahead, check it out. I really enjoyed
She
it.
loves it. I'm like, eh.
Don't forget, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're also on Cashapp. I gotta be real.
Yep.
You'll see it right in here for Cashapp if you'd like to make any donations. I want to thank you very much for tuning in to our review of
Thank
The
you.
Batman. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.